tariffs are upon us and it's crazy. It's the end of the world. If you just look at the mainstream news, that's the feeling you get. We all gonna die. The economy will never recover. Orange Man in the White House has just nuked the global economy, and that's the end, right? So it's like insane sentiment right now on the markets. But exactly these kind of times is the time when you should stay calm, when you should take a step back, and when you should understand the cycles, the macro cycles in which things take place. So that's exactly what we're gonna do, because I'm gonna give you in this video the astrology, the archetypal cycles that allow you to understand where we are right now, why what happened right now was really predictable, why it had to happen like this, and what's gonna come next, both for traditional markets and for Bitcoin and crypto. So let's go. All right, so it's been a crazy time right now in the markets. This sell-off, this massive carnage has been one of the worst in history, literally, right? So there's been 4 times so far since 1952 for the S&P 500 to see a 10% drop in one day, right? The other 3 times, they were all known bona fide crises, like the major financial crises that we had. It was 1987, like the Wall Street crash, 2008, the global financial crisis, the mortgage crisis, subprime mortgage crisis, and 2020, COVID, right? It's like at that level, right? It's that level. And then you got 2025 with the tariff scare, right? The tariff scare that's been hitting people, right? S&P 500 selling off, not just S&P 500, everything. Dow Jones, NASDAQ, FTSE, DAX, the German stock exchange, you name it, right? Everybody's been selling off. Massive uncertainty. People don't know what's going to come next. How is this going? Oh, is this going to be now the, a recession? The whole economy will crash, or what's going to come next? And what happens when people get scared like this? They go into safe assets, which is obviously why gold keeps soaring right now. But interestingly, Bitcoin and crypto have been holding up really, really well, right? Bitcoin has not gone beyond that 80, 81 support, and crypto assets with it. Ethereum is sitting still at its support line and so on, right? And this could be, well, if it holds, I gotta say to this, if this holds right now, then for the correction that we saw, this big correction that we saw, the bottom would have been in for March 11th. March 11th is when we had that wick down to the low 70s for Bitcoin, right? And I gotta say, I gave a prediction here on this channel in February when the correction started. I gave a prediction and I said that we were going to see the bottom of the correction around or very close to the eclipse, which was March 13th. And so far, it looks like March 11th, right? Just 2 days off. March 11th so far looks like to be the bottom of the correction that we went through right now, right? Because, as I said, well, still we have to observe this. It's possible that bears are still going to attack. But so far, it looks like it's holding up pretty well. And obviously, furthermore, this could be also the first signs of a decoupling. Another thing that I talked about on this channel, if you follow this channel, you'll know, already in January 1st, I made a year ahead prediction for the whole 2025. And I said there that I'm expecting for this year a decoupling of specifically of crypto and some high tech stocks and traditional markets, right? But specifically of Bitcoin and trad markets, right? And that's what we're seeing potentially the first signs of, right? Because you had in one day $3 trillion sell off for traditional markets. On the same day, you had $5 billion of inflows into crypto. Okay, so that's fine and good, but still, fear is very strong on the markets, both traditional markets and crypto. They're in fear territory. People are really scared. People are worried what's going to come next. I've seen a lot of people, even on X, experts and so on, people talk, oh, it's over. The bear market has started. This is the bear market. The tariffs are, Trump has just knocked out crypto. Let's get ready for 4 years of bear market and all of this stuff, right? So is this true? Or do we have anything, is there something else to look forward to? Is this going to continue? Where are we going to go next, right? Is it going to take 6 months to clear up all of this tariff madness? What's going to happen next? Let's look at the astrology to give you the answer, right? So you will see, you're going to see, and you're going to breathe deeper, because you're going to understand that everything is fine, everything is going according to plan, and has to happen like this, right? So first of all, what you want to understand with the current astrology is that we have this constellation here where we have both Mercury and Venus being retrograde right now, right? They're both retrograde, and they're retrograde in Pisces. They kind of went backward like this, and they're conjunct Saturn. You can see this here, right? I don't know if you see this well, but here it is. I'm gonna zoom in here so you see this. They're both retrograde, and they're conjunct Saturn, okay? So what does this mean? What does this mean? Let me give you the breakdown. Mercury, retrograde. Mercury is commerce and exchanges and thinking, right? And Venus is relationships, diplomacy, money, right? Both of these are going backward. It means we're going to revisit, rethink, readjust. This is the time in your life when you're going to be revisiting and rethinking and readjusting your business and your plans and your partnerships and your relationships. And just like that, the global stage is doing this too. And now these two energies, which are going backward, right? They're meeting Saturn. Saturn is what? Limitations, blocks, right? Blocking, limiting, saying no. And if you put the three of them together, it's the exact archetypal signature of tariffs, right? Mercury, commerce, Venus, relationships and diplomacy, Saturn, limitation, tariffs, right? So there's going to be tariffs right now. Perfectly makes perfect sense. And because they're retrograde and because they're in Pisces, Pisces has always this air of unreality and confusion. Because they're in Pisces and because they're both retrograde, you're going to have a lot of weakness in the market. People are just not understanding what's happening. Oh, this is confusing. Oh, this is scary. This is nebulous. We don't know what's happening. But it's perfectly normal. It's a time right now for restructuring and rethinking relationships and for making some cuts, right? You're going to see that in your own life, and that's what we're seeing right now on the markets as well, right? Perfectly fine. And by the way, just from an economic philosophy perspective, tariffs are not a bad thing. It's just like borders, right? You have borders. You want to have borders around for your house or for your family, and you want to have some level of control over what comes in and what comes out. And just like that, for a country, it's not a bad thing. It's a healthy thing. It's like your immune system, right? But anyways, don't let me get philosophical on this one too much here, because I know you want to know what's happening next on the markets. And I'm going to tell you what's happening next on the markets. You're going to say, okay, Dr. V, you told us before, you said this was going to happen. So what's going to happen next? That's what I want to know. Okay. Let's look at the crystal ball, right? So that being said, none of this is financial advice. I'm sharing all of this with you for educational and entertainment purposes, so you understand how the cycles work, right? And then you can do your own research and put together your own understanding of things. So this is where we are right now, right? This is where we are right now. And from here, we are going to move into what? The next few days. Let's see. The next few days are going to be pretty interesting. By April 8th, Mercury turns forward again. And then by April 13th, you see here April 13th, 14th, April 14th, Venus turns forward again. Okay? So they both go forward again. Within what? Within 2 weeks. So within 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, a lot of the confusion is going to lift. And everybody will start to make deals. Mercury goes forward again. Venus goes forward again. It's like, oh, okay, we have revisited everything, and now let's move forward with our deals, with our commerce, with our arrangements. Everybody's going to come to the table and make deals. Everybody's going to come and make deals. Actually, I show you something here. Yeah, this will like seal the deal for you, and you will really understand what's going on. And that's looking at the chart of Donald Trump at the same time, right? Donald Trump. So Donald Trump, you see, Donald Trump has this same conjunction here that's happening right now with the Venus and the Mercury retrograde. You see them here, right? And they are in his 7th and 8th house, the house of partnerships and resources of other people. And they're making a trine to his Venus-Saturn conjunction, right? A trine is like a harmonious and very empowering relationship with his Venus-Saturn in 11, which is his very loyal and reliable partnerships. He has very loyal. He's very strict with partnerships, but he's also super loyal, right? And that's getting the trine. I showed you this, right? It's getting the trine here right now. A historical moment where you have Venus, Saturn here, and they're trining his Venus, Saturn. Venus, Saturn, trine Venus, Saturn, right? And this is going to be here still for another 2 weeks, another week and a half or 2 weeks. So what does it mean? It means that in the next 2 weeks, Donald Trump is going to make some incredible deals. Very simply put, he's going to make some incredible deals. He's going to be working overtime with his team, and they're just going to be making deals. Tack, 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 tack. And they're going to close all of these tariff scares that exist right now. Apart from, the real target of the tariff, this whole tariff motion. Obviously, the real target for Trump, for the Trump admin, is China, right? And to a lesser extent, Europe. But everybody else in the world, they're all going to make deals, and the deals will be better than what was in place before. And nobody will be worried about this anymore. So that being said, the fear will lift. In 2 to 3 weeks, the fear will lift from the markets, right? The fear will lift from the markets. That's good for the markets, of course, right? You're going to have no more fear, scared selling, right? But then what happens next? What do we need if we want to see some real action on the markets? It's not just lifting fear. Fear is good. Lifting fear is good. No more fear. That's good. But what we really need is some decisive forward energy for the bulls to attack, for speculators to make moves, right? And when is this happening? Or for speculative forward-looking investments into the future to happen again. And when is this happening? This is happening when you have a lot of fire energy. And when do we have fire energy? Look, we have first Mercury from April 16. Mercury goes into Aries, right? And then a couple of days later, just a couple of days later, here, April 18th, Mars goes into Leo, okay? So this is two things, Mid-April, we have these two things, fire energy. And then a few days later, by the end of the month, Venus also goes into Aries. You see here? So this is going to be insane. Mid-April, starting mid-April, April 16th, and then going into end of April, beginning of May, we're going to get lots of, first of all, the confusion will clear, and then we're going to get lots of forward motion. People will get, again, confident and aggressive investors. And when you have confident and aggressive investors who are looking at the future, it means the bulls are going to get very, very strong again, right? What does it mean for the markets? I'm seeing the markets go really strong up, right? After this confusion settles, three to 4 weeks from now. And the archetypal signature is here, and it's crystal clear, right? So my money is on a continuation of the parabolic up phase, the banana zone upward phase of the crypto bull market, starting from mid-April, right? Mid-April to late April, right? Let's say around 16th, 18th April, got the new moon in there as well, the Aries new moon, bringing a lot of energy, a lot of fire energy, and then everybody's going to go ignited. Like, let's go. That's going to be the energy. Now, there's one thing that we need to be careful of, which can still mess up things big time. There's one thing, right? And I'll tell you what that is. But before though, make sure to subscribe to this channel. If you haven't done so yet, like and comment and do all of that. And you can find the link below if you want to have a consultation where we can look at optimizing your strategies, right? Because obviously we're always hit differently and activated differently. And you need to look at your personal strategies as well so that you're aligned with the flow, right? Now, this one thing that we have to pay attention to, what is it? What is it? What can be the one thing that could mess up things for us? And that's geopolitics. Geopolitics. Why? Because we have one constellation coming up here. You can see this here. This constellation is on April 25th, right? It's sort of in those final days of April where we have the Mars-Pluto opposition here, and Sun is coming into this square as well, right? So a T-square with Mars, Pluto, and Sun. You can see this here, Mars, Pluto, and Sun is coming in there too. Remember when we had this constellate last? The last time this constellated was just before Biden left the White House in November, December. And that's when they had this big scare around the missiles that were given to Ukraine, and Russia issued nuclear threats, and it was like this close. It was this close for things to really get out of hand, right? This was the last time this constellation was in. It went out of aspect and it comes back again. Mars Pluto means aggression, radical aggression, right? Radical aggression. So there's one thing that can still mess up things, which is around April 25th, or that week, last week of April, geopolitical tensions, geopolitical strife, geopolitical opposition. Obviously, we're all looking at Iran right now. Iran, is this possible that US-Iran could escalate? There's going to be a video here on this channel tomorrow on Iran and US potential escalation. So make sure to not miss that as well, right? That's the main candidate, but there can be other candidates as well. There can be other hot spots right now where geostrategic, geopolitical tensions could escalate, right? So that's what you want to hedge against a little bit, and that's what you want to, maybe look at gold, although, right, this is actually, the sun is in that T square. So, and sun stands for gold. So gold is actually going to be threatened as well. Gold has just been going up crazy. There's going to be a threat for gold as well. I'm going to do another video next week on gold, or in the coming week on gold as well. So again, stay tuned, be here, and let me know in the comments how you feel about things. What do you want to see next? I'll leave you with this now. I think this is a good way to wrap this up, and let me know in the comments what you want to see next. Be careful and take care of your investments. Take care of yourself. Be well and be blessed.